Hello everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a good one. Today we're going to be playing South of Midnight. I'm giving myself a bit of a day to just hang out and play video. And there's an update. There is an update. Hi. Let me have my spite. There you go. And BLT can hang out. Classic up. I know. I was like, what the fuck? There's an update. I was like, God damn it, no! I thought we were good. But I did a silly and I forgot. Alright. I have chat and BLT prop. And then we'll have BLT come over here. Come here, buddy. Here you go. Now, I guess we wait. I didn't realize that it needed an update. Thank you for the cheek bit. I guess we could do quick New York Times while that finishes. Everyone's having a good day though. Oh, I'm so eepy. I'm always eepy though. Let's play the mini. Ready. Auto check on. Person or thing. Person place. Like someone you shouldn't trust with fragile objects. A baby? Fragile? Clumsy. Nope. Klutzy? I guessed. A time to die? That one's hair weird because it's like dyes and like hair dye. Hello, also the lovely souls here. I hope you've been able to take care of yourself. I hope you're yet to reach the location. Then I hope you get there soon. But remember, even if it's a horror times, things will eventually calm down and you'll reach our haven to relax in front of a warm hearth. Oh, what a cute message. Hello. How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're having a great day. What a sweet message to start my stream off with. Thank you. Yeah, we're just playing a little New York Times, hanging out while my game updates, because I know there was an update. There was something I didn't know. So we're just waiting a little bit. Dangle a carrot in front of a rat. Bunny? A horse? I don't really know. Class for a cognitive science major for short. I'm the last person to, I feel like, ask about science things, you know? Activities on the docket. Plans. Full of sexual lust. Lusty? I didn't know lusty was a word. Good is questionable, but we vibe. Understandable. You know what? I feel like that's valid. I think you can have a good day, a bad day, and a day where you vibe. It's a vibe day, you know? Not particularly having a good or bad day. It's just a day where you vibe. Commonly cobwebby room. Attic. I can't spell today. Though, did we ever expect me to spell all that good, to be fair? There you go. From Prague, say, is it... I don't know how... Check? Jane in classic literature. I don't know that one. Not to get rid of. Keep. East. Oh! Entice. And then the last one was psych. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That wasn't so bad. Okay. Data. There we go. Is UVAC one? Tactic. Oh, I don't have a Y. I was gonna do cavity. Oh, acid. Avid. David. No. We did data. No, we don't have an E. What would this be a word? Ta-da! My brain is too fried. No, that's a mood. Oh, attic. I wish I could do 3-letter words. There's so many like cat. I say and then I can't think of any more. Think of the checking pixels. Right into brain play. Oh, it updated. There was an update for South of Midnight, so I had to wait for South of Midnight to update. But yeah. Tact. Oh, thank God. I was like, I can't think of any more words. Okay, here. Opium. Okay, well, we got an O. BRB, but meeting is over. No problem. Stick to me. Stick to me like caramel. Holds? Okay, okay. SD. Oh boy. Door. It's gonna be goods. Score? We don't have an E though. I'll just do doors for the fuck of it. Fuck! There's too many O's! What do you mean? Okay, S. Odors? No, it wouldn't be odor. Because the S wouldn't go at the end. And the O doesn't go there either, so it'd be like... What the fuck? Sodor, my favorite word. I know, right? Sodor. It was such a great word. Okay, so it would be something. Something. Oh, something, something. And the D has to go here. And then the O doesn't go there, but it could go here. Oh, what about stood? Last chance, but I got it. All right, we do strand. Hell yeah, process of elimination, always win. The movies. What's the movies? The Avengers of the movie. The movies. The movies. Oh, is it this movie? What the fuck? The movies video game? What is this? What? The movies is a business simulation game created by Lionhead Studios. From what the fuck? Godfather? Oh shit, Godfather. Did I go the wrong way? Where'd the H? Wait, I went the wrong way. Oh. Okay, so I feel like Avengers would be one. Oh, there it is. Avenge. Isn't it ERS? Avengers? Avengers. Avengers. Then. Shining? Ooh. Shining, nice. I'll figure one out. I feel like this is silly because, like, The Shining. Oh, The Godfather. Just found a new great quote. Oh, what's that? Wait, no, I want to figure it out. The Great Gatsby, I think. I feel like no. No. I feel like the Avengers should be what no. What other movies have the in them? Okay, now I gotta look it up. Movies with the in the title. Shawshank Redemption? Dark Knight? I don't think those are in here. Lion King, Avengers, A-Team, Aviator, D-Train, The Sandlot. Sandlot? We didn't do this because it was easy. We did it because we thought it would be. Mood. What about The Terminator? Oh my god. What? The Lord of the Rings? What the fuck? Dang, the Stoning, the Deadlands, the Meg. I'm gonna guess. Is the ring meant to be the Lord of the Rings? Oh my god, that makes me upset because that. Oh no. Title. No, isn't it titles? I don't even know what graduate would be. The ring. Oh, got it. That makes sense. Actually, just the ring. Yeah, the ring. Yeah. Okay. Get the horror movie. Okay. That makes sense. Okay, so we have 2 words left. I don't know this one. Just fucking not. No, the word 8. Tease. Alright. Aviator. Is noogies? I don't know what this one is. The Goonies! Oh my god. I got it. We got it, chat. Good job. Andrea and I had the same brain cell at the same time. We're like, the Goonies? Alright, and then we'll do this one, and then we'll play South of Midnight. Case mantle sauce, core crust, 40 trunk trout, torso young, 6-pack cheese topping, Bond's midriff growler. Is it mantle, crust, core, like the layers of the earth? You know? But I don't know what the other one is. I don't know what the other one is. Because I can also think of another one, which would be growler 6-pack case. These are like amounts of, like, I think alcohol that you can have. I think a 40 is another one. I'm gonna try it. Units of beer, hell yeah, brother. I don't even drink beer and I got that one. So crust, mantle, core. I don't really know. Could be midriff, maybe? But then doesn't... Could be right, but I don't really know. Crust, topping, sauce, cheese. Oh, crust, toppings, sauce, cheese, yeah. Nah, it's components of pizza. So the crust, mantle, core thing, that was the trap. That was the red herring. Sucks. Torso, trout. Bond's mantle? What's midriff? What does midriff mean? I got it. What'd you get? Oh, would it be? Yeah. Okay, that's what I just thought. Central sections of the body. Now, what the fuck is the last one? Baseball grades, Bond's mantle, trout and young. How would I know that? I think I just heard Pixel say, "Oh, in the kitchen." I'm not New York. I'm not the New York Times. I'm sorry. All right, let's get. Oh, I don't even have the game open yet. I was like, oh, let me get the screen ready so we can play South of Midnight. I don't even have it. Hi, Kaneko. Hi. I can play my controller. I'm always afraid with games if I don't plug in my controller before I play them, they're just not gonna register. I live! Yes, I missed you. How are you doing? Sorry if I'm lagging a bit. This game has shaders that it must compile. Done fighting. Okay, my OBS is freaking out a little. Work had me in a chokehold these last couple of weeks. That's understandable. I feel like it's been a busy bit. Later. Okay, OBS is just kind of dying, but I missed you too. I missed you so much. I hope that work is lessening its chokehold on you and you can have a more easy time. Have more time to stream for yourself and have some relaxed time. Do whatever you want to do, you know? Okay. More time to lurk with cool peeps in the milk club. Aw, are you so sweet. Okay, we can skip this because we saw it. The little Audi screed. Okay, we're gonna continue. Hopefully it left us off where I think it left us off. If not, I don't really mind going back in. Hi, Rhino. Alrighty.
Now look at that bottle.
Oh, I do want to try one thing. What game is this? Is South of Midnight. It's very like Bayou kind of folklore-esque game. I wanted camera shakes on. I think I'm gonna turn it off. Just because it feels less stop motion-y to me and a bit more frame rate to me.
I barely know what filling this thing does.
Oh, you'll see. One step at a time.
This is where it ended me off? Okay. I forgot the controls. Glide. Up. Okay, yeah, okay. Up. Wait, were there any fluffs? Little floofs? Oh, fuck, I forgot I can't touch the water. Is there any floofs around here? I wish I could know if I got all the floofs. But I don't think it's gonna tell me that information. Dry land? Ow. I forgot. I'm forgetting things. Ow! I think it's, yeah, it's this button. Okay, I'm just gonna heal really quick. Hey, that was rude. Time for bed. Have a good time in bed. Sleep well. Thank you for stopping by. Love you, bestie. Alright, where's the other bitch? Didn't react to that fast enough. Hold on. I gotta get all the essence. I need all the essence. Oh, this essence. God, there's so many. Oh god. I need so many heals right now. Oh my god. Okay, that was the yellow thing. Give me your soul before the other one attacks me. But what if we feed on Catfish instead? You know, I wouldn't be mad about it because I really love Catfish. I love Catfish nuggets. I think Catfish nuggets are very good, very tasty. I'm a little fucked up. But we've got to free him because he's gonna help us find our mama. Okay. Oh, fuck, I did get it. Okay. I've never had catfish nuggets, but I would like fish tacos right now. I'm quite hungry, apparently. Understandable. I mean, that makes sense to me. I would love some catfish nuggets.
The bear trap was meant for Benji. There weren't no bears around here. To Rhubarb, it was proof that things was going to get a lot worse, just like last time. There was no escaping it.
What's wrong with them? They sound so good right now, look at that. I know, right?
What kind of person would do that to someone?
I agree. Also, what is wrong with Benji and stuff and his brother? You know, like, are they just brothers? I don't understand why people would be mean to them.
Full. Just one more to go.
Wait, that's water. I can't go down. There's a floof. Ow. That was very rude. There we go. I want the food. Got distracted by the. I know. I want the food. Oh my god. The place is a death trap. There we go. Is there anything this way? I feel like I have to go this way. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's the bear trap.
Ugh, nasty, cruel work.
Mm-hmm. These brambles are so big. What do you mean, like
A friend offered us safe passage. I won't be long.
They're so close.
Ooh.
They must be exhausted.
How do I get to do that? Press A to jump on a stranded wall and run along it, then use... Okay, I think that makes sense.
Now that's cool.
Sense. That was cool. I think I missed the jump though. Jump up. It's so pretty. Well, okay. Alright, girly. I don't know why you didn't almost make that, but that's okay. Over there. There's a floof over there. Look like it. What do you mean the wall smacked me? Out for any floofs. Go around. Also, I'm just gonna do a thing really quick.
Be brave now. Trust what folks do, not how they seem.
The ghost got away. They ended up somewhere safe.
The snapping turtle. No snapping turtle. I think we need to just go up this way. I really don't like missing secrets in video games. You know, I have to go back around and get them again. And it's not about all that shit is, you know? I want up there right now.
Did folks used to meet up here?
Seems like it. There's a lot of tables. Dear Mayor Brassard, I don't know who talked bad on my good name, but I ain't the cause of Benji running off. Sure, me and him got into some, but that don't mean I hold grudges. Did my part to make a pass by the house and give my sympathies to Rhubarb. Give it time, and the Kuyan will show up again right as rain, kind of cloud
That's
gurdy.
right. Rhubarb said Benji went missing.
Yeah, Rhubarb was the guy that we talked to earlier that said if we helped him. There's a thing on the other side of this door. Can't. Okay. That was like, oh, if you help me, I help you. Also, my brother's missing. I am sad. Oh, there's a floof. What's this? Street Sylvan's Got Talent. Calling all aspiring entertainers is your time to shine. Enter to participate in our Shining Community's first annual talent show. Show us what you got.
A talent show. Bet all the kids love that.
I like talent shows too, so I wonder wonder what that was all about. I have 185 points. What the fuck? Let's do while in the air, press X time on the ground. Let's get this one. Get the aerial rend. Unravel enemies to set off strand blast. Amplified attack can be charged further. Inflict. I like this one. I think it'll knock out the other one. Yeah, that makes sense. Or I don't have enough for the other one. To go into that door. This door. Looks like one of the blankets. There's like a thing in there. How do I get in there? Maybe there was a thing on the other side that I missed. Can't run in the house. I guess that makes sense. You're not really supposed to run in houses. Maybe there's something. Yeah, he's like down there. Get down there. This is the top. This is the thing. I don't want to do this yet. I want the secret. How do I get the secret? Give me the secret. I also don't like I can't run in the house. Let me run in the house. Maybe there was like a way around on the outside, like down here I'm supposed to go. It's like, oh, there it is. I'm just silly. I should have just gone around the house. Sarybot doing the menial, the tedious work. Thank you, Sarybot.
Right by a dozen hates and didn't even know.
I forgot how to do the new skill that I got. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Give me your soul. Ow! What the fuck? Where are ye, foul beast? I don't remember to dodge. I'm forgetting a lot. No! Oh my god, this guy behind me. Oh no! Rude. Ow, I can't see it. I'm in a corner. I'm in a corner. Nope. You guys have to stay still while I unravel. It's Simon Says rules. Don't surround me. Ow, I said don't surround me. Oh, this is rude. Can't get me while I'm unraveling. Simon says stop. Simon says stop. Simon says you can't do that.
Getting easier.
I think I was the yeah, it's that. It's the double. Or can I do it once? Yeah, I can just do it once. I don't have to double jump. What happened in here? What happened then with Benji? There is best spot. There is best spot.
While Benji's love was as true as his heart, Rhubarb was tired of tending to his needs instead of showcasing what he could do.
Okay.
By this point, Rhubarb felt he had moved enough.
Oh, God.
What the fuck?
What did Rhubarb do?
What the fuck? What? What? What?
Where am I?
Well, now, how curious. You shouldn't be here. Let us remedy it.
Who's there? Oh, fuck!
Follow the bottle! Follow the bottle! I was drinking water. I didn't expect to be thrown into this. Not looking behind me. I am good. Oh. This is really a test of how much I learned through I believe the tutorial bit.
Is this a dream?
I don't know. I don't really care to find out if it's a dream or not, you know? Because, like, what if it's a thing where, like, if this is a dream, but you die in real life if you die in a dream, you know? I really want to find out. Let's keep running, huh? Oh, we're so far ahead. We'll be okay. Hi, Kiwi. Welcome on in. A lot of wall running. I like it though. It's cool.
Go, go.
I'm trying. Going towards that big moon.
Let me get out of here.
We're trying. Oh, it's a bottle tree. Old member said I know. It's a tree spirit. My bottle wants to go home. I like all the little flower and lacy effects. Oh, it's so bright. Oh.
Oh, thank God.
You did
What the
it.
hell was that?
I don't know.
Let me just get back to that fish. Yeah.
Okay. So you're telling me that I need to go all the way back now? Okay, yeah, I guess so. I'll be honest, chat, I really don't know where all of this goes. Oh, okay, this is supposed to be a ledge thing. I gotta go this way. Over here. Oh, this is where I came from. Yeah, so I go in here and then I'm back with the fish.
Got everything you need?
I think that's
I think
everything.
so.
Then hurry up
Hey.
and fix that dangle.
How do I fix it? But how do I fix it? I think I have to go up. I have to go up, right? I think I have to go up this way. Yeah, I'll go all Right? Yeah. My brain is. I have church in a few hours, but hang out until then. I hope you have fun at church. Is it like Easter church thing? Oh. No, wait, what? Wait, what? I think I went the wrong way. I don't know. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Huh? Wait, I am confused. Yeah, until Monday. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, I think I'm supposed to go in the house. This house? Very dark in this house. Oh. Oh, there's paintings.
Is that
Hello.
Benji? Huh. He had a nice smile back then.
He did. It's very happy. Who's this?
She looks stern.
Probably your mom. Probably the mom.
Rhubarb? That old guy who gave me the bottle? He looked like Benji's brother. No wonder he knows so much about Benji's pain.
But yeah, what did we not? We are not already guessed that they were brothers. Where the heck am I supposed to go? Is it this way? That's not what I wanted. What's the button for the? No, because this is where we had one of the fights. I don't think. Mr. Catfish Man, I'm awfully confused. I think I've done fuckered up. I find it interesting that, like, the fighting walls are still here even after the fact. Oh, Brambley. Don't do it. Oh my god. Okay. Am I going the right? I feel like I'm going the wrong way. There's a floof. This has to be the right way, actually. Arcue! Okay, so wait, what? Yeah, there's the tree thingy. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Can I get up? Get up. Okay, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Let's go back out. This is not the right way. Hold on. What's the X button? Hi, Ghosty. Oh wait, no, I just clicked the button. Get back to the catfish and clear the tangle. But how? Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. That was very cool though.
The water's boiling.
Oh yeah, I'm smoking.
Hello!
Hello. Okay, am I just supposed to talk to the catfish? Hey, catfish. How do I clear the tangle? How do I clear this tangle, my guy? You really didn't tell me how to. Ooh, that frog noise is a very. Oh, it's this thing. Right. Sorry. Even boo.
Okay, what crazy thing is about to happen now?
I assume your first time in the Wii was a bit eventful?
Oh yeah, you could have warned me about the fog.
Fog? Oh, that fog. Yes. Must have slipped my mind. I'm a tad dehydrated. You get a pattern?
Yeah, I didn't expect it to be so personal.
That's valid.
Secrets are a terrible burden.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm so eager to help. By listening.
That makes sense. But I kind of need help by not listening, by telling.
So what do I have to do to help Benji so I can get you down, so I can save my mama?
Use
Oh,
that
it's doing a
pattern
side
to
quest,
fix
a side-
that
it's a
big
side-
old tangle. You'll need to reweave Benji too.
There's a heron
But
again.
first things first.
The heron
We'll
keeps
fix
following
that
us and
tangle.
watching us. Okay. Ooh.
When Rhubarb said go inside the hollow tree for a game, Benji did it. Even when he was nailing the hollow shut, Benji trusted him. There must have been a moment when Rhubarb decided to leave him there. And a moment when Benji, trapped inside that tree, finally understood. He must have cried to the heavens. Somehow the tree took pity, and somehow Benji become the tree.
What?
But he'd never forget that the brother he had loved had done this to him.
Whoa. What kind of magic is that? And what kind of man would kill his own brother?
Yeah, what the fuck? That's fucked up, man.
Okay. What do I do now?
Now scuttle up on Benji like a squirrel now.
I
Okay.
remember my brother. His fate was so cruel. He saw things so different, branded a fool.
The book reader rooted in pain, Benji.
He found trouble often, each place we'd go. He didn't know that this was the end. He was my brother, Benji's
Excuse me.
name. He saw
Benji?
things different. He was my shame, and I said goodbye.
We entombing
I
raiders
said
today?
farewell.
I think
Took my
we're.
hammer,
Ooh, fuck! I fucked up.
my ticket to hell.
I think we're just
The locals got angry,
setting free
left tracks
sad, torn
out
souls.
for him. Through rock started shouting. His
Ow! I
prospects
almost fucked up.
were grim. Easy to blame Benji, my mother's favorite son. For her and my family, my plan had begun. Let's play together.
Like, it's not what I expected for this game. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
In a cypress tree hollow, it was safe and dry. He trusted me fully. I nailed him inside.
It's like fucked up, brother.
He thought we were playing.
That's
That
weird.
was a lie.
It almost looked like it got dug out of him.
He was my brother, Benji his name. He saw things
I like that the song isn't just a generic song, it's a song that goes with the story.
and I
It makes a lot of sense with these kind of things.
I said farewell to my hammer.
Sorry to be moving you around like this.
He was my brother, Benji his name. He saw things different. He was my shame. And I said goodbye. I said farewell. I took my hammer, my ticket to hell.
I think his brother. I'm trying not to make too many assumptions, and I apologize if my assumption is wrong. But I think his brother was like had like disabilities or something, and because of that, like he was treated as a special little guy, you know. And but Benji had his own things that he was good at. But because he always got all the attention, you know, killed his brother. If you are interested in folk elders, there's a podcast out there called The Fun Old Gods of Appalachia. Oh, that sounds straight up my alley, dude. Love that. I probably said the word wrong, but you know, I never say words right, so please forgive me. I get the movement in this game, kind of like the pacing of it also matches the song that we're listening to in a way. Watch it end before I get done because I died like 3 times. You got it? Okay. Okay, I forgot the button to go down. Okay, it's that button. They're very scary.
Oh, that looked like it hurts. I bet that's where I used the pattern.
Probably. I gotta figure out how to get up there, though.
Mind moving your arm a little bit so I can get up? Is that okay?
This is so cool. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Benji. Okay, mythical creatures such as Benji have transformed their trauma into a wound. Attack it to clear the stigma. Okay.
Taking a shot in the dark here.
Not really. They told us. Well, does it heal it? It does! I like that! I like that it heals it. Like, I thought it would explode, like, cause like it kind of felt like an explodey effect, but I'm glad that it was like kind of like a, oh, we put a band-aid on it, and now it's better.
You'll let him go now, won't you?
Yippee! Like, I do some stuff to get ready for D&D later, no problem. I'll just be here enjoying this game.
Meet me at Rhubarb's dock.
Okie dokie. That was
Where's
nice.
that fish?
Yeah, we got Dragonlance tonight.
He better keep his promise.
He said he'd be at Rhubarb's dock. Are you at Rhubarb's dock? You are at Rhubarb's dock. Sausage Lands? Salami Lands!
Pardon my mud. What'd you see? Tell me all the juicy details.
Is this entertainment for you?
Well, fish ain't got no TV.
But do you know what a
things I saw?
TV is?
I get why Mama had to wash her day off when she got home. Use up all our hot water on really bad days.
Oh, was your mama a weaver too?
Social worker. She never really felt like she helped enough. Do you think I did enough for Benji?
Oh, my dear. Weavers do fix things deep down. They mend parts of your soul so ripped, you'd forgotten they were ever one piece.
How do you know so much? Did a weaver ever help you?
Oh, I don't like to talk much about myself.
He kind of looks like he was like stitched together.
Come
Though.
on. Oh, I'm not as slimy as I look. Don't you want to find your mama?
I feel like you are as slimy as you look, and I hope that you are as slimy as you look because you're a catfish.
Now wait till I tell everyone how that terrible tree abducted me for my stories. And just when I was about to be desiccated, a weaver showed.
There's the heron again. Slimy is a sign of health. Exactly.
As Hazel ventured downriver, her powers grew stronger. She glimpsed it past, seeing some memories of Ma and others strange and unknown. Hazel was perturbed by what she'd seen of a giant man tree in his heartache. But thanks to my help, she reweaved his knots and sealed his pain in a magic bottle placed in the grand tapestry. Once she set me loose, I offered her my assistance to locate her Ma. But there was more than meets the eyes in these waters. More than just a gentle tree man lurking about. I guided her through the murky waters to the flooded area.
Did the brother Amontillado, the other brother in the tree? I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna presume yes. He did kind of like trap him in the tree trunk, and then Benji and the tree became one. That's what their game logo is. Compulsion Game.
You mean to tell me your mama never told you stories about critters and weavers? Oh, you're lucky I come along.
What?
Shh. Oh, that's two-toed Tom. Big gator. I gotta drop you off fast.
After I got you out of that
That's a
tree,
gator?
you said you helped me
That's
find
a
my mama.
gator,
I ain't in
brother?
a disposition to be gator snacks.
Well, me neither.
If we're gonna go on, we gotta get rid of him.
I'm all ears.
There's a church up a ways with a big bell. Go on and ring it.
You want to make him come running?
Tom can't abide the sound of bells. Some church folks once tried to dynamite him, and he didn't take that too kindly. If you ring that bell, he might skedaddle.
You better not skedaddle.
Go on now, scoot. I'll pick you up yonder after to go find your mom.
Bye-bye.
Funny ass mud cat.
Hey, I heard that.
I love that mud cat. I love that mud cat. You might get a little design update after we're done here. Catch my drift. The Cask of Armadillo is an Edgar Allan Poe story where— oh, yeah, kind of, but yeah, pretty much, I'd say. Pretty much.
That must be the church.
All the way over there. All the way over yonder. We gotta keep our eye out for floofs. Like that one. How am I supposed to get over there? I don't think they're— okay, now I really lurk. Sounds good. Good story. One of the people— can you not— yeah, the water is like it's LA sewer water. Think of it as LA sewer water. So if I get into it, it's gonna hurt a lot. LA tap water, more specifically. Sewer water is worse technically, but you know, it gets the point. For— sorry, 1 second. Floofs around. They're pretty contrasted, so. Chirping noise sounded like baby alligators. Baby alligators chirp? Ooh, I like that. That was fun. I can't believe they're still like showing us stuff. Would you love their noise? I got a pet a baby alligator once. This way. There's a floof this way. There's a floof. How many— oh, we have enough. I mean, it seems like we're at a point where like this game will just have us get everything. You know, I think if we collect all the floofs, we'll unlock everything. So I'll be sure to keep my eye out. So there's that, and there's that. This is the way we came from. Okay. It's a
Gotta move
boar.
quickly now.
How quickly though? Because I'm looking for floofs. More floof. What's this one?
Wait up. That floating island is the gator?
Yeah. Yeah, why do you think he emphasized the whole— silly. Why else would they emphasize— oh, there's a floof. Okay, there's a floof across. I put a TikTok in the mines for you about baby gators. Okay. We can pause for a second to look at the TikTok about the baby gators. Oh, this little noise! Oh, yeah. Little, I don't know how to make the noise personally, but yeah, that noise, I like that noise. That's a good noise. It's a good noise. They sound like little lasers. I just saw the little title of it. Yeah, they sound like little lasers. Sci-fi lasers. Things to fight. Traveling time. Ah, I see. So the unravel burst works. Oh, you gotta wait. Oh my god. Okay, so I can do it. I can unravel them right as they're dead. Exactly how to wait.
That's all of them.
Like it. Ah, so getting better at it. And the flowers return. Which way do I go? I think. Yeah, we came from that. Okay. It turned around very easily.
Gotta head to the church.
Into the church. Of course, gotta make sure there's no floofs on the way, but we're heading to the church. What's this pot?
When was the last time someone lived in here?
I don't, that's a good question. I don't really know, you know, like, I don't really know why that was relevant, but, yeah, okay. Oh, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck?
Mushrooms? Well, that's no fun.
Oh, that noise, the little gator noise. It's the exploding mushroom. I'm not seeing any floofs. Okay, never mind, I lied. I think there are just baby gators. Like a bullfrog or something that I'm hearing that's very nostalgic for me. Reminds me of when I would go camping. There's a cow! Mr. Cow, how do I save you? I'm coming. No! What do you mean? What do you mean? Can I not save my brethren? A cow, what do you need? Can I knock the cow? The cow! No! I haven't saved the cow. Cow life matters. Oh, fuck, ow. Okay, sorry. Cow life matters too, man. What the fuck?
That's from the trailer too.
The cow! The cow! What do you mean I can't save him?
Looks like some sort of drawing.
Weren't you cooking boogers the other? I believe in cannibalism.
This picture, I could kill a man. Something's gotta change. I feel like a thread being pulled far too taut.
Cow life matter, also cow death matter, exactly.
Not for me, for her. I have to keep these kids safe. I wish I could do more.
That sounds so hard. Mama must have seen some pretty messed up stuff. I struggled with just seeing what Benji went through. Gotta get up there and ring that bell.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I will, but like... Any floofs? Any floofs in chat? Floofs. Got a little bit of floof. Like a boar. A boar and a baby boar. Boar and baby boars! What's this? What will this lead me to? It'll lead me to a floof? Lead me to a floof? Is this where I just need to know it's not? Because there's no floof. Was there more floof? Oh, hell yeah. There was buoyancy to that. That's cool. Oh, this is a health upgrade thing. I'm glad that this game, it's pretty obvious when like there's another path you can take. Because my biggest headache that I've ever had with like secrets in a game was when I played Doom Eternal. Cause not everything in that game is like straightforward of like what you like where the secrets are. That makes sense, but it was like kind of a headache because it's not for me at least, it wasn't always obvious like what the extra pathing was. I feel like that's a way too. Maybe not. But I like that in this game it's a bit more obvious what the other extra pathing is. Let's go around. It's a truck. What this truck's for? Oh, so I could pull it. Do something? Oh, I have to pull it this way. What? What? Get up. Yeah, okay. I'm going in the house? I am going in the house.
Jeez.
I found a way.
I felt that in my chest.
Me too. I'm hurrying! Well, not really. There were a lot of floofs around. Oops. Okay, hurrying. Okay, now I'm hurrying. Oh, fuck. No, I didn't want to go. Okay. Oops. Sorry. That's a big ass gator. Yeah, be careful. You might get tinnitus.
What the hell?
Hurry up! Jump!
Just a big old baby.
You said he'd run away.
I might have been misinformed.
Might have been misinformed. Okay. Yo, big old baby.
To find them all, Hazel heads closer to the river bend where her house must have washed away. The closer we got, the more I remembered those tales about gators as big as houses. But I always thought folks were exaggerating. Hazel had to cross a flooded land to reach the bend in the river, where they passed, and an old friend rose up like sunken secrets. But the terrorizing legend of Two-Toed Tom still cast a chilling shadow over us.
Is that
While
not the
Two-Toed
trailer?
Tom might have stirred up a mess round these parts, the storm sure done far worse.
Piggy. Yee. Complete chapter. Oh, it's a dead cow. No!
You chickening out again?
No. You know how the water's starting to smell like pig shit? Well, I'm breathing that.
Oh, that's nasty.
The flooding must have overflowed the hog farm sewage again. Your
Ew.
house might have got caught on that away, where the river bends down. But you'll have to go over Two-Toed Tom's stomping grounds to get there.
Oh, shit. Ain't there another way around?
But we was gonna have to deal with all manners of critters, darling. The straightest way to your mama is through there.
Yeah, we just helped a tree.
Oh, and try not to get ate.
Bye-bye. So now we
Fill the
don't
bottle
want to go
and deal
into
with
the
that
water
giant
because it is literally sewage water. Whoa. Poor cow. That way. And brambles this way. Maybe just go up in the tree or something? What is my task? Make your way across the flood. Okay, that's cool, but how do I get across the flood? Like if I... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't think I was supposed to go in the water. Maybe I'm supposed to... No, that's too short. Oh.
Is that from our house?
It's your stuffed animal. Yippee.
Crouton?
I love crouton.
I never
I
thought
want
I'd
a
be so
crouton.
glad to see you. You're the only thing I have left of my mama. Until I find her. Which I will. What's this?
Drop him back in the sewage water, my
I
guy.
don't believe this. And this ain't even the weirdest thing I've seen today.
I love him. He's alive.
I guess you didn't like being lost and alone either, did you? Maybe you could help me. You can speak in small spaces like me.
He's such a little gremlin. I love him. He just went into my pocket. He did the little thing where he goes into your pocket. Again to switch back to Hazel. Use card to add. Oh, we get to play as him. Wait, go back. Hold to cast crouton to explore burrows. Hold RB to dispel. Crouton calls out nearby burrows or hidden paths. Hold RB to aim crouton and press to throw him outside of combat. Throw crouton across to access Hazel area Hazel can't reach. Cast crouton. Crouton controls the targeted enemy for a brief period. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. This is great. We're a little guy. We're a little guy running. There's a thing in here, Miss Hazel. I can take care of it.
Weird little guy. But useful.
Very useful. Be careful with the pieces of yourself. Dispose things like clipped hair, nails will... With knowledge that they can be used for both good and evil, giving the burrows someone's hair can be used for a love spell or even to cause chaos in their life. The body holds power even when separated. there anything else? Was there anything else in here? I love the way he runs. Is that it? Cups down here. Alrighty. Very interesting. It's like subtly sinister. This music feels like there's like something more here. Something to read there. I wonder if I could. It's too far away. He makes a little sound that makes it sound like he's going, no, 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 and then when you dispel him, that's a gator. Oh, I wonder if we can get that boot. Bro. I was just like, oh. I think I just need this. Nope. Definitely feels like a thing where I was supposed to use the little guy, but that's alright. RV. Oh, it's okay. Why am I throwing him at the?
That hurricane really made a mess of things. What are you so excited about? You want to go in there?
Yeah, he wants to go in. Which is what we're gonna do. Let's go. I'm a little guy running around. I'm a little guy made out of patchwork. I'm a little guy, little guy. I love Crouton. I love his name too. Looks like there's nothing this way.
Gotta start filling up this here bottle.
Near the stigma near the giant statues. Oh, okay.
You ain't slick. I see you.
I didn't. His pain is.
Can I get you over there?
I think he's enjoying that a bit too much.
Oh, no. He's just a little guy. Clear up. Great. I love this. There's a thing in there. You know what? I'm supposed to throw him in here. Oh it's like, oh, it's like the sheet metal, but for him. Ah, it's like Floofs, but mini. Okay. Makes sense. I don't really want to use Crouton to fight, to be honest. I think it's cool and all, but like, I don't think I'm gonna use my little guy to cast Crouton. Okay, it wants me to, but I don't really want to be completely honest.
Oh, shit! You can body snatch Hank.
Can you give the head pats? Yeah, kill. I got that soul. Fuck, it hurts. Probably a healing upgrade is so fucking nice. Nope, you can't attack me while I'm unraveling. That's against the rules. Oh. Oh. Oh, less. Ooh, never mind. More? Alright, maybe I will be using it. Come on, help me. Oh, so he keeps their form. Okay. Alright, I got it from here, buddy. Aha! Auntie Belle's live music tonight, Jolene. Jolene.
Two-toed Tom wasn't always a giant alligator. He started out as a pet of old Farmer Swoops, who'd starve his own kin so they'd behave. Tom's trouble began when Jolene Swope started ironing. Old Farmer Swope knew it was a matter of time before she'd run away.
That was Preacher Jolene from way back.
Who? Who? Is this gonna be like an animal abuse situation where like he used the animal to kill Jolene?
Jolene's church is right over there. Folks will be taking shelter. What's Jolene's got to do with two-toed Tom?
Or Jolene did good, and then Jolene used two-toed Tom to eat the guy that owned them. You know, something like that maybe. Clues? Places my little guy can go, Crouton. I'd rather do that than throw Crouton at him. I mean, I think it's cool that you can throw Crouton at him, but it's like, I'd rather just use my other stuff if I can. What do you mean? That was silly. It skirted that edge,
Pearl.
it did.
She's safe.
That or we're in the afterlife.
Miss Pearl.
Hazel! Oh, thank God.
Here, let me help you inside. How did you get here?
Bo, pick me up in that flat-bottom boat of his.
Hazel, where's your mama?
Jolene.
Not with you, Jolene?
Not since yesterday. Folks didn't want her to leave. Some don't trust no one but her. Wait, Lacey never got home?
Oh, baby.
She was late. And then the storm, and then our house in the river, and I wasn't fast enough to catch the trailer.
Baby, breathe. You can't blame yourself for that. Ain't nobody outrunning flood waters.
I thought maybe you got to her before I could.
I'm so sorry, honey. Something big as a trailer would catch at the river bend down yonder.
Damn.
Lacey had friends who
Jolene's
could have
got
helped her.
assets. That whole mini talk about the fried
Some
fish
you
and fish
might not
tacos
know.
had me looking up places to
Who?
get some nuggies. And the prices are. Oh, I'm
Not
so
my place to tell
sorry.
you
I'm
if
sorry.
your
The
mama
prices are
didn't.
poopy.
Then I'm just gonna have to keep on looking on my own.
Why don't you stay till we get news? You can't just stroll out, not with two-toed Tom on the loose.
You know something about Tom, don't you?
Tom used to be my daddy's pet. Well, no one ever thinks they're serving Satan, but somehow he gets his business done. Folks are still straggling in.
I gotta find Mama.
It's not safe out there, Hazel.
If I was the one missing, she wouldn't stop looking. Take good care of them.
I'll pray for you then. Stubborn, just like her mama.
Have to
Damn,
hurry across
rude.
this village if I want to keep filling my bottle.
Rude. I know this ain't biblical, but don't forget to put an iron nail in your garden to keep out those damn burrowers. Forgot to put mine in last spring and they took all my tomatoes. Left a happy little trail to their hidey hole knowing I can't squeeze my big back in there, curse them things.
Always wondered why Miss Pearl insisted on using real iron nails in her garden beds.
Galvanized steel iron. The cows. Hello, cows. Can I pet the cows? I can't pet the cows. It's a lot more diabolical. What? Ow. Why can't a girl just be free to run around in the muck and not get exploded by mushrooms? Yeah, that was stupid. That was silly. Okay. Oh, there's another way to get across here? Oh, please, for the love of God. Okay. There we go. There's a cat! There is a cat! Let me pet the cat! Oh my god. I just want to pet the cat. What's this? Babe, how are you sleeping? I've overheard like 6 people say they ain't sleep well since Tuesday. That's almost a week. Everyone is having the same dream, some kind of fog and a feeling of despair. I'm running, but don't get nowhere. Then it's just empty. I wake up feeling cored out and hollow.
That's weird.
That is weird because that is kind of like the thing we're going through. And it makes me really think that we are in the afterlife. You know what? I could... Wrong one. There we go. And we're right into another fight, did we? Alright, which one do you take that one? Pluton's doing such a good job. Holy crap. Keeping them distracted. There's another one behind us. Oh, I think I was too far from it. That's why that makes sense. Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Let me distract him. job, crouton. I love crouton! Yeah, get fucked up, little guy. Big guy. Not little guy. That's not a little guy. That was a scary big guy. Is there nothing for little crouton to go mess with? I guess not. Oh. There's a car here. And a bench. Mushroom. Another mushroom. And a floof. Oh, fuck. I think I jumped too soon. I have such terrible depth perception, chat. Ow. Oh, why? I will throw. Okay, I think I meant to throw crouton. I think they want me to utilize crouton here. That, you know what? That's what I'll do. What do you mean we can't collect the food? Well, now we collected the food. Okay, one second. Beep. Anything here? Anything with this big old water tower? Doesn't look like it. But it does look like I need to get across. I think somehow. Yeah. Is there nothing that helped me get across? Or am I just supposed to cross a different way? So really nothing else to this. I feel like there should be something more than just getting a floof here. There's a ladder on this side. Now maybe that's not supposed to be anything. Well, wish me luck, chat. I feel like I doubted myself. I doubted myself a little bit. Oh, am I supposed to throw crouton? I think crouton needs to go over there. Crouton to the rescue. Go. Okay, maybe this way? Okay. Maybe I have to throw him from up here? Maybe? That's not the way I'm supposed to go. We have a stigma in a flooded village. I think I'm supposed to go to that next stigma, actually. There was a stigma next to the one that we landed next to, right? Yeah, this one.
He's a little close for comfort.
It's okay.
Nasty looking.
Wait, I need a heal. Wait, don't touch. Where's the heal? Heal is all the way over there. Nope. Nope, no touchy. He brings out flies? Oh, gross. Ow! Oh, he's doing a super charge attack. Righty, now for the big guy. Ow. Oh, the chicken used to kill that guy. Oh, don't spit up. Don't do that. Alright, Crouton, give me you.
I think that knot's part of a plan.
Okay, what's going on with this one?
When Jolene moved out, mean old Swopes come round to force her to come home. He starved poor Tom, so that when Swopes rang the dinner bell, Tom went crazy with hunger. Jolene was scared, all right, but she was done being scared of what her daddy was gonna do to her.
That little alligator can't be the same one that's chasing me.
I think can't is a very strong, suggestion, you know? I think it can. Considering that, a human turned into a giant treant, I think it's very possible. You know?
Bottle's only
We get a
half
look around the
full.
house now?
I might get a better view from the top of Monarch Cotton.
Let me in. Cute little house. This is the 5th Sunday in a row that the McAllister kids have come to church all on their lonesome. Clothes dirty, hair uncombed, ribs showing. The oldest one has bruises, and when I ask about what happened, she gets a hard set in her jaw. About time I reached out to the special branch of social services.
You can always count on Jolene to notice when folks need a hand. Hope those kids are okay.
Social services. That's a good question. I hope they are too. This is Jolene's house. So Jolene's house is cool. It's fine. Surprisingly. Anything else? Anything for little Crouton to fit into? I don't think so. Okay. Let's get him moving. The 3rd health crystal. Well, it's not really a crystal, but you know. Yahoo! More health. There's a floof. There's a floof over there. Is that a floof too? There's a floof over there too. That I missed. Also, I spot a what's this game? This is South of Midnight. South of Midnight is a really cool game where you are a weaver and you get to cure people's pain. Also, I spot a Cult of the Lamb extension. I am maybe I never turned it off because I didn't have any plans to play Cult of the Lamb. Kayla Dutreville. I've seen that name.
Bo!
Oh, this is where I'm supposed
Thanks
to
for
go?
getting Miss Pearl to safety. I owe you one.
Okay, I didn't know this was the right way to go. I thought this was a different way to go, so I gotta go back because I think I missed a foof. I think I missed a foof this way. Pretty sure I missed a foof this way. Thank you for the alert, Kiwi. Hope you have a good time in the church. I have to do this. I didn't want... Oh, fuck. God damn it. Super expired you then. Alrighty. So there's a floof there. There's a thing I think I have to get, and I'm going that way. So I think hard maybe I could go this way. Secret bottom, yeah, secret goblin business. Goblins always have sometimes have secret business. So how the fuck am I supposed to... Oh wait, crouton? No. Maybe I have to go back. Feels like a go back kind of situation. Sleep and teach. You could play video games. You could stream. It's all, and teaching is cool. I want to go back. I'm not supposed to go back? No, I want to go back because there's a thing and I want the floof. Why doesn't it let me double jump right there? Maybe there's another way to get back across. I wish there was a map system in this game. God damn it. Alright, fine, we'll go forward. Maybe it'll go like a do a roundabout thing. Hey, Bo. Hello, doggo. There's a hair on again. There's the doggos. I feel like if I go forward, I'm not coming back, you know? It feels like that kind of thing, you know? So I'm just gonna go back. Yeah, okay, this is land I'm definitely not supposed to be on, but I feel it is my only way to get across. Unless I throw crouton. I could throw... I'm just gonna throw crouton. Maybe crouton will help you figure out a way to get over there. Crouton, go over there. Help me find a way. Crouton, how am I supposed to get back over there? I don't even remember how I got here in the first place. To be completely honest. You go that way, you'll never see this place again. Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. That's why I want to go back and get the floof. Go little crouton. Maybe crouton can find a way. Because it's that house right there. Yeah, floof. Unless maybe I already got him. Because it's... I see that floof. There is a floof there! Motherfucker, bro. How am I supposed to get back across? Damn. Okay. I'm gonna try one more thing, and if this doesn't work, I guess we'll keep going. I feel stupid that I missed it, so... Oh, man. Nah, come on, I got this. Fuck. Have you seen... Also, dad finished my lights. Have you seen how cute they are? I have not. If you want to send them in the fridge, I'd be totally down to see. Or if you want to just send me the link or something. If he posted it in his Discord. Bro! I'm so confused. Could I get on top of the house? So I was over there, right? I think so. Yeah, because I came from... Or am I wrong? Did I come from this way? No, I didn't. This was the way that got me up on there. So maybe I throw... Hold on. You did put the ball, send them in the fridge anyway. Thank you. Oops, this is not... Alright, crouton. See if you can make it, little buddy. What? Something tells me that area isn't loaded. Okay, maybe I'm being a bit too ambitious. Maybe I just need to keep going. Because maybe there's a way around back. Keep going. Maybe we'll find a way back. Maybe we won't. Who knows? Can I get up on this guy? Kind of. There's no purpose for it though. Hey, little poppers. Hey, poppers.
Now you make sure to wait Bo if Tom gets too close.
Yeah. Any burrows? Any burrows? No? Okay. See, there's a thing.
Not a shit sprinkler. Ugh. Can't breathe in this stinking ass field.
Okay, that's where we go across. I think that's the way we're supposed to go. Yeah. I think so. Ow, fuck, I wasn't looking. Alrighty. Now, I think we're supposed to go this way. Scent, cool. Let me check it out. Oh, very cute. Very cute. Alright, which way are we going? Havoc did a great job. We gotta go up on this thing, don't we? I look a bit like an angry Roman in the first one, but that's okay because you're hiding behind your little screen. This is the higher bandit.
Looks like more stigma over there by the old farmstead.
Yeah, but we also need to find Mom. So where's that house that we didn't get to get the thing from? Is it all the way that way? It is. It's that house right there. Motherfucker. I don't want... I think we're just gonna have to leave it, chat. I think we're just gonna have to leave it. Okay, so what's the objective? Reach the old farm. Okie dokie.
Looks like y'all weathered the storm pretty well.
Yeah, it's a barn. Look, I'm gonna be lazy after dinner. Hee hee, no problem. Have fun being lazy. I'm sorry, piggies. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm sorry. Oh wait, no. There's a piggy.
Squeal it. You'll attract the gator.
You gotta save him.
Please shut up. Please. I'm trying to help you. Oh my god.
No. Oh no, the piggy. No. The piggy.
Hey, no, asshole. That was a cute pig.
That was a cute pig.
Damn fool thing. Rest in peace.
Damn. Okay, I guess.
Ugh. I need a shower so bad. I am covered in doo-doo water.
Well, yeah. Makes sense. Kind of been in doo-doo water all day long, you know. Any floofs around? I don't think so. Stigmatized. Bad bug. Bad bug. Yonk. say as there are. Come on now, bitch. I keep getting the shout and the thrash hook kind of confused. What we got him, chat? I think I have to go across. Just want to make sure there aren't any floofs around.
Conveyor belt's dead. Needs power.
Oh, so I'm presuming that's what the other stigma that I have to go fix is for? Oh, not that way. That's what those the way I came from. Power, huh? How do I help with that? Let's see. Oh, a generator. Convenient. I don't. What? Oh. Okay. Okay. My aim is just horrendous, I guess. Oh, fuck. I clicked the wrong button. I clicked fucking A instead of X. Or whatever the buttons are. Stigma.
Old Smokes Farm. Been abandoned for years.
For years? Oops, sorry. That scared me. I thought we were going into a cutscene. My bad. What is this for? What is this for? What is this? I don't know what that box is for yet. Do I need to hop the fence? Bark, 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 bark. Oh, a sheep. I don't know what that cube is for. Unless there's something like in here. Well, I don't think there is. I don't know what this is for, but I'm gonna put it up against that fence because that's what it looks like. What the heck? Oops, not you. You can hang out if you want, though. I don't think this is what I'm supposed to use this for. Oops, okay. Never mind. Come on, buddy. I wonder what that box is for. Oh, what? I can't. Ow? Okay. Oh, because there was an entrance. I feel like me going over the fence is a lot cooler, but yeah. Ow, okay, that was my bad. I was very close. die, see? Oh. Please help me, Crouton. Yes, thank you. Pick him up. Ha! I don't know if like if I were to do like the final like unraveling, if that like takes away the I guess XP maybe.
Poor Tommy cried from hunger all the nights his supper was taken. Some say he once bit his own toes off for something to eat.
Oh, that's why he's
when
two-toed.
Joe ain't rang his dinner bell, and he saw old Swolf just laying there all juicy.
Oh, Johnny, you did it.
He ate his own toes. That's why he's called two-toed. That's so sad.
Bottle's almost full. Just one more should do it.
From thread to hook, tendril strand. Oh, yes, please. Looks like the way we're supposed to go. Is there anything? It doesn't look like it. Huh. I think I have to reach. Maybe I just go around. No, that's not what the box would be for. I could just try it. After the poop sprayers go away. Ooh. Close. Oops. I keep messing those up. Oh my god, don't explode. Wait, can I like cheese it? Cheese it? No, I can't. Can I like jump onto you and then yes I can. Woo! Alright, here's the last one.
Let's go. Got a bottle.
I just need croutons, but that wasn't necessarily the one that I wanted. Ow. Unravel. Fuck yeah, bitches. I think unraveling just heals you. Ooh, no thank you. Help me, crouton! Help me, crouton! How? Yay! I'm unraveling. Boy. I'm getting good at this, chat.
Jolene's guilt got the best of her, despite telling herself it wasn't murder. If her daddy didn't punish her and Tom all those years, they wouldn't have done what they did. She vowed to dedicate herself to good works and let the Lord sort it out.
Okay. Makes sense.
Can't believe Jolene's the one who set Two-Toe Tom free.
I mean, you probably still should have watched his diet and stuff. Like, I don't think... you know, Here we go again.
Fog again.
I think we learned anything new, particularly with our skill set. Other than, I guess, these things? I'm running. I feel like I can hear them behind me. Oh, I can see the tree. I can see the bottle tree. We're almost there, chat. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh, ah fuck. That was my good. Alright, we got it this time, don't you worry. The last one I did one try. I think I just didn't have my camera angled well enough. The game registered that I could hit the other family. See it? I sees it. We're running. Woo! See how this story ends. So the people at the church tried to bomb him once, so I guess it makes sense why he's so upset.
They said the trailer might have got caught in the riverbed.
Two-Toe Tom. Are we just gonna... Okay. He's not gonna talk about Two-Toe Tom at all? Gonna leave it at that? Alright. Yeah, okay. Maybe he'll show up at the pig factory and we'll talk to him then. I gotta fight over that way, but I gotta reach the pig farm. I also feel like this maybe isn't the way to go to get over there, so I'm gonna go this way.
I'll do this real quick.
Yeah, just real quick, Buggy ones are always so annoying. Okay, I wanted you to be a good dad. It's alright. You take care of him, Tom. You're the true hero. Nope. No throwing up. Underneath them. Ow. Okay, okie dokie. Woo! That was a close one, Chatterino. Oh, it's still there. Interesting. I thought that disappeared afterwards. All cleaned up. Alright, we can go now. Thank you for the boo brainer. Pig factory, pig factory. Pig factory so we can fix two-toe Tom.
That door needs power. Ugh, God, it smells awful out here.
Just switch. Now you go. Alright, Crouton. There are dead pigs in here. There's dead pigs in here, Mom. Hazel! Hazel, there's dead pigs in here. I don't like it in here. Oh, I don't like it in there. Dead pig. There are dead piggies!
That explains the smell.
Yep.
That's so bad.
This is
I
fucking
can taste it.
Yeah, we gotta get this floof though. Where are we going? We're going. Oops, sorry.
Awful way to go.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to get through there somehow, baby.
Okay. Okay. Oh boy. This.
All right, you're up,
Crouton. Have fun in this disgusting, disgusting place. This place that makes Elaine very, very sad. There's the thingy with the thingy. Oh my god. The thingy. Oh, there it is. I found it, Hazel. Gross.
Oh, man. Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
It's like the inside of the gator's belly if you think about it. Like it could be like a metaphor for the inside of the gator's belly. Sorry, you can hang out with me if you want. Alright.
After Jolene let Tom go loose, he discovered the pig farm.
Yep.
How had Swoops kept this miraculous place secret from him? Tom ate everything he could clamp his jaws on. He didn't care if it was a pig or a washing machine. If you go hungry when you're young, you never trust your next meal. You'll eat even if you're full, just in case. Tom never felt like he'd ever have enough.
Poor Tom.
Hurt people, hurt people. That's what Mama says.
I keep hearing that statement a lot in my life, as of late. Like, it makes sense, but it also confuses me, to be honest. The wording of hurt people. But it makes sense. It's just,
when they were little.
lots, yeah. Yeah, lots, actually, yeah. This is true.
Where are you headed?
We're gonna have to make him feel better. He's got all those, like, sharp spikes in him. Makes me feel bad, to be honest. Gotta take care of this first. Secrets! He's a big old boy. I always need these. What is it? The next one is Crouton. When Crouton controls ends, he sends off a strand blast. Hell yeah. We have unlocked everything thus far. Alright. So what's the plan? What am I doing? What am I doing? Reach the river bend. I presume it's this way. Ow! Makes sense. Just climb on the truck, climb on the hay bales, to climb onto the tower. What the heck? Ooh, the thingy. No, I was trying to... Huh? I have to break the board so I can climb up on the tower, but the tower doesn't want me to break the thingies. I have to be further back. I am awfully confused. Oh! Silly. Is that all the boards? No, it's not. Huh? Okay. Lane's just impatient, that's all.
That's my house. Mama!
I'm coming, Mom. Better go. You better go. Well, to be completely fair, I feel like we could have healed him and then went about it, you know? Like, I don't think we had to do the whole try to get a mom first kind of thing. Also, I feel like, you know, we could have...
Let's go, you big bastard!
Oh my god, it's a Final Fantasy raid! Ow! Attack! Ow! Double jump and oh! Oh! Throw shit rocks at me! Don't throw shit rocks at me! No! No! Oh my god!
Church bell. He swapped. Ropes' bell had him doing tricks.
Oh, I hit the boo-boo. Ah! Oh! Yeah. I got it.
Get in, get out fast.
Alright, I got this. This is like an actual boss fight. This is cool. Oh! Ow! That was my bad. Let me just grab this here. Yep, lovely. Let me definitely grab this Healy boy really quick. Okay.
The wolf!
Trying. Whoa!
No, the bell!
Oh fuck. That was so uncool. I'm sorry. That didn't happen.
Give it a ring and
Fuck, dude.
no amount of jiggling is gonna do it right.
Ow. Fuck. I hurt, Chad. Bell. Ooh.
You better cough up my house right now.
Oh, really feel like it works like that? But yeah, we can try.
Get in, get out fast.
Oh fuck, ow. I keep pressing A instead of the other one. There we go. What? I'm cheering for the gator. I mean, you can't say that you ate gator literally the other day.
Sound bounces right off when you fall riled up.
But he is really cool. Okay, I keep thinking I'm prepping for the wrong button. This is like unavoidable unless I like I can't get out of it per se. Fuck, oh fuck, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm not gonna fuck that one. How? Okay, and the gator I ate was delicious. Rude. Fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. I'm getting a little greedy with that bell.
He's down.
I figure out what you're gonna do. Oh, whoa, bitch. Back here. Bringing it because I want to, honestly. Ow, fuck. I ate gator, I wasn't impressed. I've never had gator. My dad's hunted gator before. And almost fucked up because he was in like kind of like a herd of them, I guess you could say.
The wolf.
Yep, trying. There goes the fucking bell. What? Hold on, no, we gotta get the health. He's like tough chicken. I feel like if you cooked it right, it would taste pretty good. God, I like the music in this. So far now.
He's spitting there. Bide my time.
Oh, what is this? What is that? What is that? You're too confused by the rock. Just keep running, ow, fuck, okay, just keep running.
Can't reach the bell with just my spindles alone.
What's wrong?
Can't slow down.
Stop trying to catch the boulders. They look fun to catch. Okay, you know what? Fuck you. Let me heal. Let me heal. I'm just gonna keep taking it. Ow! Hell yeah, boy. Got this, we got this. Keep on him, keep on him. Ah, I did it. Oh shit, she still got 8 though.
Gotta be kidding me.
Oh, ew. Whoa, they did a whole environment for the inside of his stomach. That's crazy.
Oh,
Well, maybe I'll find my mom in here.
this might be worse than the pigs.
Maybe, but our mom might be in here. Hey, look, it's a church tower. What in the fuck is this? Hey, the pig!
Ah, you in here? No way to reach the house. Gonna have to clear out all that stigma.
A house,
We help the pig?
a boat, and a church are just
How?
for Tom.
How are we
They
doing?
say
Oh, I missed my
They say
opportunity. I have
for
to wait
Tom.
now.
But to Tom,
Oh, there it is.
to Tom, it's all the same. And eating well.
That poor pig.
Patience, patience.
Can I not help that
patience
pig, like,
is
whatsoever?
All it takes, is all it takes.
Gator boy got a whole country inside his belly. He does. Can I not help him at all?
Wish he had stayed quiet now, huh?
Don't say that, Hazel. It's a pig. It's a pig. What do you want with a pig? What's this? Well, this is my absurd last will and testament. I ain't got much to my name, but what I got, I leave my daughters Mandy and Alana. This house and the meager savings in my bank, the life insurance policy goes to them too. You two are the best things that ever happened to me. I know you'll grow up to be the more amazing gals than you already are. I love you more than life itself, my little corn cobs. That's cute.
Rough. I wonder how long he was here for. And if his daughters are still in Prosper.
Maybe. I think I have to go. No, that's where I entered
Hope
it.
that ain't the top of Jolene's church.
I'm sure it is. Hey, yo, Elaine, I love your face. How are you doing today, you exceptional human being? I'm doing well. How are you doing, Simply? I'm playing a bit of video game today. Taking a bit of a break from work just to, kind of have a good time. Unearth this bad boy and heal him up. I do be doing. Hell yeah. Well, welcome on in. I hope you enjoy this cool game. It seems pretty fun. I like it. Oh, gross. Hey, the pig is alive! Yes. Okay. A lot of red thread.
Ma, you in there? Can you hear me?
Found a thing. Your mom is not in here, brother. I think that's a picture of me and my mom. He's on the mom.
Little bug. So cute. She was just big enough for the smaller rides. Nervously gripping my hand, but having fun. Beignet crumbs all on her shirt.
That's cute.
We never went back. I wish we had more carefree moments like that together.
It's not too
I
late.
wish you were here.
I do too. Oh wait, I didn't. Okay. Piggy.
Woo-wee! That was some gator fight. I'd applaud if I had hands.
Mama's not in the house. There's just red yarn.
It's over with you.
everywhere.
I didn't expect you to be thrown up today. I didn't expect that either, to be honest.
That means Huggin' Molly's been there.
What?
Didn't your grandma ever scare you? Oh, Huggin' Molly's gonna snatch you.
Yeah, to keep me from wandering off when I was little. Old Huggin' Molly steals children, and all she leaves behind is red yarn. Wait, is Huggin' Molly real?
All the stories are real, darling.
If Huggin' Molly took Mama, why?
Well, Molly takes children no one cares about. Your mama might have gotten her way one too many times.
But there's nothing in the stories that talk about how to find Huggin' Molly.
I might know where you could start looking. Hop on.
Why aren't you slimy? You look dry. Bye, Piggy. Bye, Piggy. Oh, we didn't miss anything in there. I like this. I like this. Oh, I just realized all the little doily symbols make one big symbol.
Hazel had gone into the belly of the beast to find her ma once she reached the river bend, thanks to me. But Hazel's house was covered in red yarn, a sure sign of Molly's child-stealing ways. It looked like she got to Lacey first. Maybe Lacey had crossed paths with Molly. Tales of old Molly stealing children weren't just tales. Years ago, when he was no bigger than a minnow, Huggin' Molly even snatched Hazel's daddy, Trey. But Bunny got him back somehow. Hazel would have to track down old Molly to bring him home. Fortunately,
Hello,
I knew Bunny where she might find some.
Hello, sorry, we were in a bit of a cutscene. 1 second. Let me pause. Can I pause? I can't pause just yet. I can't pause just yet. We just finished the cutscene. How's it going? How was your stream? How was Muse-Dash? Nope, you pause. You pause. We have a raid incoming. Hi, raiders. Well, how did their partner Crockett Cat's a right peculiar critter they are? Reckon they ain't big. A bit of a gremlin trying to summon Mothman with chicken. Oh fuck, hold on, I gotta scroll. Two chicken nuggets, ain't that something? When they're not up to no good with their croc cult, they're dashing through Muse or hunting monsters. Y'all come back now here. Hi, went good, how are you? Hi, Nasby Croco, thank you for the follow, welcome in. I'm good, excuse me. We are playing South of Midnight. I took a little break from work today and decided to just, you know, hang out and play some games. We're currently on chapter 6 of South of Midnight. So if you haven't seen this game, it's a really cool, like, bayou, I would say, folklore kind of story where Hazel's trying to get her mom back. If you don't want spoilers, feel free to, you know, lurk on away. If you need a raid and run, feel free to do so. Your health is the most important to me. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of the time that we're playing this game before we have to get into some D&D.
And lived to tell. Became obsessed and paid cash money to anyone who'd tell her about old Molly's whereabouts.
Goats.
Bunny Flood never was known to share.
Big fish, yeah. Gotta do an after.
House up ahead.
Wait,
because
you're taking me to
spoilers.
Bunny's house? I'm not
Gotta do after a
exactly on
while
my
because no
guest list right
spoilers.
now.
Understandable.
Ain't
I
her
think
house
so.
back that way?
Oh, this one's her weekend house. Can't expect rich people to spend Sundays the same place they spend Tuesday. But she don't
This is
come
true.
much anymore. Scuttlebutt is something bad happened in that house.
You think her house is full of booby traps?
Well, I do hear that in her quest
Oh,
to
after a
find
while,
out,
crocodile.
she might have
Oh,
taken
gotcha,
some
gotcha,
things that
gotcha.
weren't
No
entirely
problem, Nasby.
Ooh, she
Hope
really
you enjoy
got
the
you
rest of your
shook.
day.
Darling, listening to my fear is how I got this old.
I hope Tony
That's
isn't
so
there,
valid.
'cause that'd be awkward.
That would be awkward. Okay, so now we're in the new chapter. Weave of Life. Damaging weaved enemies with rendering step. Amplified attack. Heals you. Ooh, I want to be healed. That would be so good. Cast Strand Push before the attack hits. And then to inflict weave. Okay. And then Strand Pull. These are all 100. And then what are these? Cleansing Rend. Hold to unleash. Oh, it's like an AoE. This is, oh, double dodge? Woo! Unravel cooldown acceleration FX is improved. Strand blast and inflict increase. Oh, okay, that's cool. We'll have to get a lot of floofs. We'll have to get a lot of floofs. I like that it got sunny again. It's very pretty. And there's more places for us to use crouton. I like crouton. Crouton's so cute. Crouton is a very... I wonder... Hold on. I'm just gonna look something up. I'm gonna look up South of Midnight Crouton plush. He's so cute! It's like Oogie Boogie. I have a desperate need of everything. Gear shop, fabricated. Crouton, you are a good boy. Crouton is best boy. Crouton is MVP. Crouton is... I love Crouton. I'm keeping him on my computer because I want to draw something like him. He's very cool. I like him. Okay. Alrighty. Did I miss any floofs? Are there any floofs around? The floofs are very contrasted to the environment, so it's kind of easy to tell where they are. I went the wrong way. I just came. There's Heron again. Heron follows us a lot. I think it's supposed to be kind of like a metaphor, like, for like maybe like a mom and a dad figure, because there's an owl and a heron that keeps following us.
Look at all that.
Both
stick.
bird creatures.
All right, time to get to work.
I like that this, she feels, is her day job now. I like it. Getting a shower would be nice, like giving her... Well, I guess if we're going to the grandmother's summer house, there might be a chance. There's the fox. Which the fox has been following us as well. Which was led in the cutscenes to be the Molly. So maybe, like, she's been following us in order to find Lacey. And when we had to go fight the, when we had to go fight the crocodile, Lacey, or Molly took the chance to, get our mom. Make a lot of sense, honestly. I like this. I like the subtleties in this. I'm very curious on, like, what the symbolism, or if they explain the symbolism of the heron and the owl. And I think, if I'm correct, Polly... Is that a band-aid or a nasal? It's a band-aid. Do you want to see what's underneath it? Hold on, I can take it off. I have good nasal passages though. I have good nasal passages. Hold on. Look, I can take it off. I can take it off. Womp. Ow, ow. But I'm very curious if they have like any other like what I was saying is Polly, the old woman that kind of took us in the beginning when we were having a disagreement with her mom, she had these like figures. One of a spider, I think there was one of a heron, one of an owl, and maybe a fox as well, I believe, which would be cool because that would symbolize all like the monsters. that or the folklore, I guess, that we're experiencing in the story, which would be really cool in my opinion. It's a cut. Someone tried to remove your nose. No, yeah, it was my dog. My dogs from back home have a habit of trying to bite my nose. I have like I have a scar on my nose because of them, like this. Where's the remembrance of my dogs? Zach, thank you for the lurk. Zach, dedicated lurker, I appreciate them. I was trying to open up a map and then I realized map don't exist in this.
Nice fishing. Real peaceful out here when Hanks ain't trying to get me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I like how they put like the cattails there. It's very cool. This is where we just walked in. I think I go that way. I think we came from this way? No. I hate a fork in the road. I don't like forks in the road, chat. I get very confused. Okay, I think we came from this way though. No, we didn't. Why are there so many paths? Okay, there's a lot of floof here, so I'm going this way. A lot of floofage here. I think this will wrap back around. Ow! Rude. Ooh, these brambles are scary. There's not even blackberries in these brambles. I'm all the less enticing. Eehee! Ow! Oh my god. The stress. How many do we have now? 50? We need 100, I think, for the next. I think for everything. 100, 100, 100. This one's 80. Yeah, the rest of them. I'd really like to get the one that heals us. I think that one would be a good one. Okay, hold on. Fork in the path over here. I think we came from this way. I think so. But what is this way? A floof! More floofs. More floofs. Closer to more upgrades. Okay. What's that? What is this? Oh, this is a place for a crouton! Go! Go, my little guy! Go, little mans! Ow. Sorry, I did not see that. I'm very clumsy, which I think is very canonical for this little guy. Look at the way he runs! I love it. Alright, we're going this way. I'm not gonna get hit by spikes this time. Is there nothing else? I have a feeling Crouton might have to go in some of these tunnels multiple times, but I could be wrong. I feel like it would be a bit tedious if they had it to where, like, there's multiple things that Crouton has to go get within these places, but I just want to make sure. Little burrowers. This is their little home? Look, they have, like, a little a bed? What the fuck? Is that a gopher? He's in on a little bed. He's also got a red thread. Maybe this is connected to, like, the Molly thing, and, like, Molly, like, turns the kids into little animals that she can take care of, and they're the burrowers. Maybe it's connected in that way. I have no idea. I don't think we can go back this way. Yeah, that's like, to the previous chapter. Wait, what is this?
The stories you hear about that mountain.
Oh, is it okay. That's it. What are the stories that you hear about said mountain? Am I allowed to know those said stories, or no? Okay. I'm sure we'll find out about it as we get closer. So I think, like, the end goal is to get there.
What else did I get wrong about you? Is that? No way.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Trey always thought he'd give his wife Bunny's ring. But she refused. Swore I was after the flood money. I'd never tell him, but I didn't want that gaudy ring anyways.
It is a bit much. It is a bit much.
We chose something more to my liking together.
That's cute.
She doesn't talk about Dad much. Nice to know they didn't care what Bunny thought.
No, I think that's kind of obvious, hun. I mean, like, you were born. If they really cared about what Bunny thought, you know, it's kind of like, why? I'm just saying, like, if they cared about what Bunny thought, they would have washed out together. Yeah, so we're gonna have to go in the spiky area, huh?
Huh? Did the storm crash the boat?
Maybe, or maybe the boat crashed or was left there for other reasons. What is this way? I don't know if this is the right way to go. Oh, Lord. Stigma over here. Maybe this is the right way to go. I keep picking the right way to go. I want to go the wrong way to go because I want to get all of the food. I was really hoping she could do the thing in midair, but it's okay. It honestly makes sense that she doesn't. What the fuck? There's a thing down here. I almost missed. Whoop. Okay. What is this way? Not this way. I meant... Hey, what's this? Abel, here's a list here's the list we were talking about. Someone's gotta do something about the burrowers. They've been running more boats aground with their scurrying than usual. Important nails, iron sheet metal, permanent markers, hammer, iron, not steel. Nearly caught one, snatched my tools right off my belt. Damnable creatures.
Right. Maybe I should get myself an iron trinket.
That'd be nice. I thought there was a different way to go, but maybe I was wrong. Okay, yeah, we went that way, and now we're going. Okay.
Can't see a stigma knot. It's gotta be here somewhere.
In there. Maybe it's in here. Sheet metal. Oh, I'm big enough to fit in there. Excuse me, I am big enough. Alright. Oh my god, there are bugs down here, and they are scary. Oh, Hazel! Hazel, it's scary in here. The bugs are flashing. They make little flashes. They're very... Ow, they're very scary. Hazel! Very cute. Hazel, it was very scary in there. You know, you didn't have to witness the horrors that I saw within the caves, but it was very scary in there. So, my face tracking is a little weird. Just fix it. Cancel. 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 Wait, there's a crystal up there. Yo? How do I get up there? Hold on a second. I wonder what all these things are. How do I get up there? Can I? Well, Crouton wouldn't be able to help. I want that health boy. Looks like I have to go in from the top, though. Which might mean I have to go around. Is there anything over here? Ow. Ow. Okay. That's the right way to go again. Okay.
Better grab that. Need all the help I can get.
Oh! We need the sail to go through between the weeds. We need the sail to go through between the weeds waging war on the biggest leaves and the lack of good. Between the weeds waging war on our biggest leaves and the lack of goods, reliable folk to lend a hand. The tobacco business ain't what it used to be. We're hoping Bunny Flood don't look too closely at our numbers. Lord, I don't ask for much. Don't let one bad harvest sink our family name, Abernathy.
Don't stay that rich by being kind.
Yeah, not really. This is true. Oh, good lord. Very Allison. I use Crouton, and I still get fucked over. Hold on.
There's Bunny's cottage. Place gives me the creeps.
Wait, hold on. I gotta try one more thing. Okay.
Looks like a lot happened at this old place. Time to fill up my bottle.
Yep. There's a lot of side areas as well. I like that you can just go whatever path you want to get there. Like the story has like a linear path, but like it's not necessary that you have to do it. Fruit. I'm sorry, you didn't do much here this time. Excuse me. What will be the story of this?
Parents always have a favorite, even if they don't admit it. Bunny's favorite was her daughter Cherie, whom she'd hoped to groom into a force surpassing her own one day.
She wasn't watching her either.
Okay, the first symbol, the house. Put it in the bottle. So pretty here. Alright, there's 2 paths. I want to go in the house, I think, last. So if there's any more areas outside the house.
I didn't know Dad had a sister. Local honey. Mrs. Pearl swears by it for allergies.
Dearest Trudy, the Illust Stories journalist assigned to Garden Hospitality's latest program misconstructed a crucial step in the Flood family mid-brewing process. It is the utmost important to simmer, not boil, the honey and water mixture. You must also take care to skim off any of the surface as you go. I expect a swift correction and a reprint forthcoming. Kindest regards, Mrs. Flood.
Entitlement. No surprise there.
Okay. There's something in here. Oh, is this something to put on? Go, my little boy. Best boy. And that's where we go next. I think we need to go into the house, or can we go around one of the sides of this gazebo? We can go into one of the sides with this gazebo. Go, we're done. Excuse me. I was in the middle of fighting someone. It's very rude to just jump into someone's other battle. Excuse me! Hitting me while my back is turned. Very rude. Very rude. Can't you see I am in the middle of something? Oh, you know what? I just realized Niaru Plaid's not open. It's fine for this episode. Hey, is it more immersive? I don't really know. I have to tweak it a bit there, to be fair, the little controller. I feel like it's a bit harsher than I wanted it to be, but hold on, let me open the Niaru pad and then I'll... So probably have to edit this video later anyway.
Now for another painful memory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. About your own family, as a matter of fact. Oh, this is where you got stolen, isn't it?
Even before the accident, Hazel's dad knew Bunny didn't care for him. When his sister got her dress dirty, he was punished for letting it happen. He didn't complain life was unfair. That's just how things was.
Poor Dad. Kids make mistakes sometimes.
That's true. That got gross. I really like the effect that they have for it disappearing.
Huh. Dream spot for a tea party. Kid Hazel would have loved an invite.
I would love an invite. In general. Alrighty. That's the garden taken care of. This is just a way around, I think. Seems like nothing special.
That's not a good sign.
Nope. We still gotta go around somehow. Oh, the back door. Maybe the back door? So we cleared... I think we cleared everything outside. Maybe not. Where do I go next? Where do I go next? Maybe this has something to do with it? No, not yet. Okay. What is, let's see. There's stigma that way, which means I think I have to go that way. Ooh, there's something down here. What on?
Here they come.
Oh. No, 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 no. Good job, Coupon. I can't wait till I get the double dodge. Hell yeah, he took a big guy. Ooh, Crouton did work on this guy. All I had to do was launch. Howdy, hi Flurg! How are you doing? Elaine, my drawing is doing so well. I'm so happy. I'm glad. Yeah, I see it in the fridge. I'm so happy. This guy up. Beating this guy up. He's a big angry boy. Doing good. Playing Minecraft with the wife. Oh, so cute. I hope you guys are having fun in Minecraft. Are you playing modded or vanilla? More memories. More
when
memories.
When your sister got her dress dirty again, Trey tried to rinse her off in the water. I don't believe Hazel's dad meant to do it. He just didn't count on how slippery she'd be. Bunny never forgave him. In a way, Trey lost his sister and his mama that day.
Oh no. Did Mama know about this?
Oh shit, brother, that got dark as fuck. Whoops. Modded. Ooh, fun. Did we fill the bottle already? Damn, alright, let's go. I thought this bottle would take a little bit more, but I guess that's fine. I guess I don't really know where that story would have gone elsewhere, I guess. Banana in the kitchen. My belly is hungry. I was supposed to have a banana today, and I don't know if I did. Oh my god, I don't know where I'm going. Very much like the Alice in Wonderland, like horror aspects of this. But also this kind of want to help people.
So loud!
Yeah, because it's fucked up what happened, you know? Like real fucked up, you know? But I'm sure there'll be more fucked up things as we go along. It's okay, we're almost there, Hazel! And then we can go take a shower in the house! We're so fast. Ah! Woo! Now we weave together all the symbols. And then we have to go untangle the wound in the house.
Bunny buried every kid she brought into this world. That's kind
Yeah,
of
that... Yeah, that fucking sucks, brother.
Hello? Is anyone home?
Is that his dad?
I guess no one's here.
Woo, we can take a shower. Shower time for us. I'm guessing I was supposed to go upstairs. Ooh, crouton. Crouton room. Paintings and a tricycle. Oh, look, it's the family. So that's the sister Sherry. Oh, whoa, okay. Symbolism of Molly. It's cool. Ooh, what's this?
Just as cold on the outside as it was on the inside.
I mean, the outside is very nice to be, in my opinion. The outside is very pretty. I would adore to have a house like this, in my personal opinion. But you know, like the outside has so many flowers and it's just so pretty. But I mean, I get it. I get it. Sarah Lionette, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Hope you have a great time here. Alright, what's happening? It's a bed. What's this?
There's so much I never got to know about you.
Is this a stuffed animal? I think it is. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of like my stuffed animal. My stuffed animal is cooler because his name is Crouton and he comes to life.
Can't believe that's you, Dad.
That's pretty cool. Wish Dad talked to us more about it. Or left a diary, maybe?
You're both so little.
So tiny. So small. Little babies. And babies don't know nothing. You guys know that? Babies don't know nothing. Oh, this is the little girl's room.
So beautiful. Bet Cherie like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fit
baby
for a
crib.
princess. Dad never moved past it, did he?
Probably not. Does anybody really move past that, I guess? That's the real question. Oh, that's pretty.
I bet that
Not gonna
tree
say
made
anything
for a
about it?
nice view once.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a little piggy in the thingy.
Oh,
Aw.
Cherie really was cute as a button.
Mm-hmm. What else am I to do here? I mean, is there like an attic I can go into? Oh, there's another room over here.
Definitely Bunny's room. If she's hiding something about Molly, it should be here.
Ooh. What, there was a thing to it? Oh, this painting.
I bet Bunny's wedding was the talk of the town. She did look pretty, though.
Mm-hmm. Pretty sure it probably was like the happiest day of her life. Oh, look at this painting.
Wow, I wouldn't even recognize her. She looks so in love.
Very cute painting. That's her now.
Always so put together. I guess it helps her keep going.
That makes sense. Ooh.
She loves a sketchy bookshelf. Holy.
That was by complete
What
accident.
kind of person needs a room like this?
Rich people? No one saw him leave.
That's a big ass feather.
That is a big ass feather. What in the fuck? I
Why
did
is
not
Laurent
even
in those
notice that.
pictures?
Laurent? Who's Laurent? Oh, okay, okay.
Those poor missing kids. Could have been Molly's doing.
Trey Flood. Look, one's her dad. Andrew. Odette. Do we have Michaela? Michaela was...
Hang on.
Oh, I guess she might have been a recent one.
You went missing too?
Yeah.
Red Yarn. She found out hugging Molly's not just a scary story for kids.
Oh shit, Hugging Molly is the spider. Oh, she did take our mom. Missing children. Dear Miss Flood, here's a list of children reported as missing in the past 20 years from the Prospero region. Note that all of them have been the subject of an investigation by the local children welfare authorities. May, Barkham 11, Slaughter State Park, February 9th, 1985. Knox, Billy Granger 6. Okay, those are all the kids. What's this?
Hey, that's my distaff. Patterns too. Where did she get all this?
Mothers do crazy stuff. Alright, what is this thing now?
That's a chunk of Benji. All this research.
Okay, we're back. We should be back? Okay, I should make sure the bot is still in one piece. Oh, cries. Cries. Okay, now I really is gonna have to edit this episode. Stream manager. Okay, it still says I'm up. Okay. Alright.
Her red yarn was all over our house.
You've been keeping secrets. Why didn't you ask before?
I did. And you
Always being
didn't
dumb,
help.
yeah.
You can see
I
strands.
got poop on me.
And now you're looking for a creature. You're a weaver, aren't you?
Why would you care?
Strange. Your mother never mentioned it. Or maybe not so strange. I guess we know each other's little secret now.
Are you a weaver too?
Oh dear. Why don't we have some tea?
I don't trust you.
Let me get you some fresh clothes. My pig factory is no place for a girl like you to be cavorting.
Oh, cute.
At least it's clean.
Now,
It's cute.
what do you know about hugging Molly?
I know she takes children and leaves red yarn. And I've heard that you know a lot about her.
Yes.
Alright, talking catfish.
She stole your father once when he was young.
Really? How'd you find him?
Oh, Molly meant for me to find him. Trey was just bait, you see. It was me she wanted. Molly can't abide weavers because we mend the chaos her kind likes to create.
You don't think
That Molly took your mother to lure you? Well, I never found where Molly really lives, but I suspect Laurent Baptiste knows.
Laurent from the juke
Laurent?
joint?
Friend of yours?
Friend of Mama's.
Curious. Laurent won't talk to me. I seem to have an
Wonkies.
unfortunate reputation among his crowd.
I could try.
The garden gate will take you to his place.
Okay. You don't want to talk about how I removed all your Sigma
Do
stuff?
let me
Okay.
know how it goes with Molly. I'd be most indebted if you find her.
Oh, I'll find her.
Okay, Grandma. You were real mean to Dad. Were we not gonna address
Molly
how
took my
mean she
dad,
was to Dad?
but Bunny got him back. I can get Mama back.
Wow, this outfit's cute as fuck.
I count your breaths as you dream, and at the end of dreams.
Can't let Laurent get to me. Gotta find out what he knows.
But now the leaving's done, and we will go on.
There's a deer. Ow, fuck. Pretty good. Move here. For the cheek path. Oof. Oh, and then I could just climb out of here actually. It's like
What's that freaking blowfish talking about now?
Was there another way to go? I don't know.
And then she went right in that house. So I said, Bunny Flood will fillet you as soon as look at you. Oh, Hazel. Well, nice duds.
Thank you.
You
My
been
grandma gave it to me.
promoted at the Piggly Wiggly?
Oh, hey, Mr. None of the Floods, come to the cottage.
Oh, you don't mean. You run into Bunny Flood and live to tell?
She's my grandma.
And she's helping me find Huggin' Molly.
Oh, out of the goodness of her heart, I'm sure. So what, y'all in cahoots now?
First off, cahoots. Second off, there's nobody I'd rather be less cahooting with.
She always did want to get her hands on a weaver.
I think I can handle my own grandma.
So now you're a flood. No, I would have helped if I'd realized.
If I'm a Flood, it's in name only. And if my last name makes Bunny believe that I'm on her side, then I'ma use it.
Well, you sure can scheme like a real flood. But you
She's
sure
my grandma.
ain't Bunny using you?
I can take care of myself without your help. I do need to get to the juke joint. Could you maybe?
Oh, you don't need my help. No, you a fancy flood weaver now. I wouldn't want to get your new dress all slimy.
I didn't mean...
No, you take the path. There's a tree up yonder you should see. Bunny visits every year on the same day. Might tell you a little something about who you're in cahoots with.
Hey! Cahoots.
Alright, bye, Fishy.
He's worrying about the wrong thing. Bunny ain't nearly that bad.
Well,
From thing to thing, in the
he can run.
wonder, safe inside, you bring me flowers every spring.
That's the tree Catfish meant. Oh, Bunny.
Happening over there. Oh, the cute little. It's okay. He comes back. Here. Wait, and that's what's in here.
Don't leave these hates to fester here.
But okay, Sag Stiffle, he's okay. He's immortal. The high road interrupt aimed attack with aerial bow. no! Ow! This outfit alive. This outfit's really cool. No, he's almost dead, please! Your turn. Again, bitch.
And while I build our empire, I tend you and love you.
June 3rd, near Alum Cave, night vision's faint blur, then trail camera broken. Myrtle Point footprints. Why are they never dropping those? What or does it eat?
What does it eat?
The faces with a little tear. Aw, don't be sad, V. He's okay. He just helped us fight. He's a strong boy. He's immortal. This is spooky. Alright, where am I going? Oof, saved myself. Woo! Babies cry? What? Why is a baby crying?
Is that a baby?
Where? Oh, I guess we're just hearing him. What? Where are we going? Running on the wall? Yeah, isn't it cool? Wait, where are we going? Oh, I see. Why is there a baby in this cursed place? I think it might be the funeral area for, Hazel's aunt who passed away as a baby. So it could be that? Zooming at least. Okay, before we do that, where's the thing right here? Yeah.
It's like the tango itself is crying.
Unravel it. That's where they laid to rest Sherry.
A bit with the body it belonged to, and so it was with Bunny's baby Cherie. Bunny's dream of crafting her daughter into her own likeness, a power spun of unnatural means, was shattered. But she never lost hope she'd bring Cherie back to life someday.
What?
She stole the Benji tree's heart for its magic, to keep her daughter trapped here instead of going where it is baby souls go. I don't think she ever considered what Cherie would have wanted.
Did Bunny steal magic from Benji's tree? She must have been desperate.
What the fuck?
Wow. No wonder
That
Bunny
is
comes
so
over here in
pretty, though.
secret. Sorry I woke you up, baby Sherry. You hush now. Going back to sleep, okay?
Oh, that's so sweet.
Nothing's ever really lost.
I really like the bloom effect that they have, like when you go to fix or remove the stigma. What's cursed? It's pretty now.
While searching Bunny's cottage for clues about old Molly, Hazel glimpsed her grandma's past and felt sorry for her. But what Bunny did was unnatural. Sealing her dead daughter's spirit in a tree? Despite this, Hazel's powers guided Cherie to find solace in the great beyond. Following her lead, Hazel sought Laurent Baptiste, who knew old Molly's whereabouts, but Hazel wasn't keen on seeing him again, given a mauled history with him.
What history? Bunny got problem. Bunny goes, the barman is hard to find.
Better get to the juke joint so I can get back to pretending Laurent doesn't exist.
Did you have a thing with Laurent, or what's going on there? So where are we going? What's that thing over there? Going over there? I guess so. No, her dad is dead. Her dad is dead. So, I don't really know. Maybe it's like Laurent is like the new guy that, Hazel's mom is like kind of like interested in. And she doesn't like that. Maybe Laurent killed her dad. That's possible. I don't super know. We don't super know how her dad died. So it's very possible that it was like maybe a car accident and Laurent was on the other end.
Juke nearby.
Also, was there? I don't think there were any loops. I think it's loop this way though. Look the daisies. What's this? I mean, yeah, maybe he's her potential stepdad. Don't mind my morbid ideas. I mean, no, all of it's valid. I mean, considering the path that this is going, it's definitely probable that Laurent might have found this little runt of a boy, Laurent, walking around covered in blood. Won't hardly talk about what happened, but his mom and pa are dead. He's little but stronger than he looks. He can move crates, and people look out for the fuzz finding the operation.
1922? That can't be right. He must be a junior.
Maybe it's something else. I don't know. We're gonna find out, hopefully, in this episode. If not, we'll find out in the next episode. He's immortal? I guess, maybe. I don't know what year this is. Fighting. Ooh, a new one. Ew! Oh, you can tell which arm he dorks with! I didn't mean to hit that one. Alright, this guy. Yeah, you can probably tell which arm he jorts with. Only one seems to be working for exactly. Just uses the other one as novelty, I guess. I think they both could reach. I don't think it's a matter of whether it reaches or not. I just, you know, one's gotten a little bit more exercise than you know? I want to deal. Ow! That's new. I don't like it. Nope. Nope. Ow! I'm gonna have. Okay. I want. Keep on through it. I don't want to keep on through it. Just make this up. Walk him up. Fuck him up. Help me, Crouton. Fuck him up. Alright, we done it. That's an interesting. I like it. I like it. It's very acrobatic. Oh God, Lord Jesus Christ. That reminds me a lot of those acrobatic people who swing on the silk. Yeah, same. That's what I think about every time I see it.
That was rough.
A little bit. See it all go away. It's super pretty like. And there's a thing in here. Laurent crashed one of them damn boats on the shoreline, lost 2 crates of liquor. Masterson was yelling at him something fierce and raised his hand to strike Laurent. He scared the shit out of Laurent, his face twisted up something fierce. Talked to Masterson, said he's gonna take it easy on the boy.
Sounds like an ass. You're a sight for sore eyes.
Yippee. This way, I think. Oh, that doesn't make sense. If we go this way. Yeah, because that's the way, yep.
Lumber used to be a huge business here. I wonder what happened.
Maybe you do go that way. I could have sworn that was, how do I get... Oh, I see. This way. Excuse me, burbs. Up and then over and then up and over, and over, and an alley-oop.
How did these keep ending up out here?
What's that?
She held on to this?
That her and the dad?
Hazel took that pic of us just after LeRon had cooked us that 3-course dinner. When he felt safe, he had so much love to give. Wish he had felt safe more often. Sometimes he seemed like he was scared of himself.
I remember
That's
that
understandable.
day. I saw what Mama saw in him. But he didn't deserve her.
Who's Lacey? That's her mom.
I'm
Lacey
really
is her
not
mom.
looking forward to this conversation.
What's this? Promoted Lauren to lieutenant this morning. We all had some drinks to celebrate. He's a mellow fellow. It was nice to see him excited. He had a little too much to drink and got to crying about his folks. Madison teased him for crying. For a split second, his skin went taut and twisted. I've never seen a man move so fast. He hit Madison so hard, he flew Park way across the room, broke his leg. Lauren ran off. Wait, so then who's Molly? Molly is this... Oh, I think I have it in the lore. Lawrence says, this is our mom. Trey is the dad. Do we have... I think it would be in creatures, wouldn't it? One mention. Does it not talk about... So, what it's saying is Molly... I guess it's because we haven't met her. Molly is this folklore creature that takes unwanted children away from their homes. And we think that is what happened to Lacey, Hazel's mom. Hold on, sorry, it's bugging me that it's not like, I don't like the way that this is doing this. Okay. Creatures, yeah, so we think that that's what stole the mom. Cherry tree, yeah, we haven't gotten her yet. Benji, Father Swopes, Jolene, Laurent. I don't think it was supposed to give us that information yet. Okay, well, I know who Laurent is. Why would it be in there if it wasn't, you know, supposed to be there yet? That's kind of silly, in my opinion. Okay, was I supposed to do this? What is all this for? Was there... Yeah, that's what I'm presuming as well. Where in the fuck, Knuckles, am I going? It's that way. Oh. That's what the box is for. A box is so I can get up onto here. And go back around the other way, because that's the way we're supposed to go. Although based on his notes, it makes me wonder if he's bipolar or something. It's very possible, considering that, like, both his parents are dead. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Because I feel like that's a typical trope that they have bipolar characters do. I appreciate the insight, though, V, because honestly, a lot of these things just go over my head, so I appreciate it. Okay, there's something else here. There could be something over here, though. What is in here? Another note. Went looking for Laurent. He's been missing almost a week. I found him bloody and naked in the woods. Looked like he fought a puma. Started babbling, saying, sorry, please let me stay. I won't do it again. Fucking damn it. I told him he's got to keep those feelings at bay, even if I think he was justified in lashing out. Massassin's an asshole. I brought him back to camp.
Sounds like he really cared about him.
I guess. How do I get that floof? I get that floof up there. I get that floof. I want that floof. Friendly 10-minute warning. Thank you, Pixel. Yeah, I want to see if I can get to Laurent. If I can. If I can't, it's okay. I'm curious. We're going this way. Is this where the thing is? It looks like it. We have D&D today. Dragonlance. We have Dragonlance tonight. No, I didn't do anything bad. We just have Dragonlance tonight. I mean, which could be bad if you think about it, because we are going into war, but... No, don't worry, B. I also forgot about it, to be fair. I forgot until Pixels was like, we have Dragonlance this week, huh? And I was like... We do. I forgot. Okay, I have lots of points. That's valid. Hello, camera? I'm just gonna... we'll probably get to the next cutscene area, I think, and then we'll probably call it here. I vote for you so I can... Hell yeah! There's a bear up there. Anything this way? I don't know. A lot of notes in this one. I feel like there was more notes in this one than the last one. I found Lauren, what, 10 years ago almost? He shot up a beanpole. He shot up like a beanpole, a good boy. I swear he's aging slower than the rest of us. Where I find gray hair and new wrinkles every day, he's still got that baby face. He's been learning the business well. I think he could take it over. Hi, Havoc! Get to the next cutscene. Oh, there's one around the corner. Dad just went live. Yeah, no problem. I will be there momentarily. How many points do I have? 155. I can get... This one would be good. I've been getting overwhelmed a lot. So that one I think would be a good ability.
Something's in here.
Be sure to leave a few thimbles full of your strongest liquor outside the barrels and crates. Those little drunk buggers will swindle your hard-earned hooch in the middle of the night if you don't. Then they'll wreak havoc. You gotta give them peace offerings. They like the burn when it goes down, but again, so do
These little guys are menaces.
Oh, so they're talking about for the burrowers. Is there a little spot for the burrowers again? So whenever it talks about the burrowers, I feel like there's a little spot for crouton, but maybe not. They wreak havoc. They do. We'll do this fight and then we'll
Can't let you slow me down.
That was again the wrong ability. Ow! Ow! Oh, you can't touch me while I'm unraveling. They do not. They do though. They really have it. There's a little burrow hole right there. That's cool. That's a fucking cool effect. Oh, ow! Gonna take this little healing pod. The little pulling animation thing you did made me go, she's Booterman! No, I had the same exact thought. When like they kept like bringing up like the strands and like almost like the Spider-Man effects and like how we can swing with the strands. So honestly, mood. Honestly, mood. Alright, where's the thing I have to unravel? Where is it? Is it a thing like this? Where is the... Where is it? Game? In here? It's very dark in here. It is.
Got it.
We did it.
The stigma's clearing up.
Hell yeah, it is. Alrighty. We will save here. Think. Yeah, I hope so. Desktop? Alrighty. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Oh, you know, I was just making sure the uptime was still up. Alrighty. Whoops. I covered the camera. Alrighty. I am going to send you guys, oh my god, over onto Havoc. I'll send you guys over onto Havoc. Oh my god. Oh my god, I forgot to post content. Oh my god. Alrighty. Let me do that. We're gonna go raid Havoc _RPG. I'm gonna get a little snack and use the bathroom. But I will see you guys over there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed playing South of Midnight like I did. It was lots of fun for me, and I hope it was lots of fun for you guys to go through the story. And honestly, it's nice. I think I'm having a good time. Raid message. If you want, just say EP raid from the Milk Club. Hold on. maincoow heart. There you go. There you go. We'll do that. We'll do that. EB raid from the Milk Club. All right. I love you guys. Have a great time over there. I'll see you guys over there in just a little bit. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.